What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today we're talking about kind of the future of digital manga in the United States. We've got a few articles here that we want to discuss and some future things that are going to be announced later on next month, early next month. So let's hop straight into it. WebToon. WebToon and Dark Horse, they're partnering up together to bring major franchises to WebToon's digital platform. So right now, if you know, Dark Horse, they have a handful of manga that they print digitally, and then they do a bunch of like American comics. However, Webtoon, they do manhwa and other type, I think manga as
Like
well, series, mostly manhwa, I want to say, or Webtoon
manhwa, web
series.
comics. Yeah.
Correct. But they are partnering up to bring some of Dark Horse's biggest titles over to Webtoon. Now, I say biggest titles because that's how it was described, but let's read the article. Webtoon Entertainment Inc. announced on Tuesday, by the way, this is last Tuesday. This article is from Anime News Network. Uh, this was posted last week, but there was another one that came out this week. Then it is what it is. We're a little behind. Okay, give us some slack. Webtoon Entertainment Inc. announced last Tuesday it is expanding its partnership with Dark Horse Comics to bring a slate of popular IPs, including Cyberpunk 2077, Critical Role: The Mighty Nine Origins, The Witcher: The Legend of Korra, and Plants vs Zombies to its English language platform in vertical scroll format. These titles will begin rolling out in the second half of 2025. The new deal builds on Webtoon and Dark Horse's successful collaboration with Avatar: The Last and Airbender comics, which have garnered over 13 million views on Webtoon.
Wow.
Titles coming to Webtoon include The Witcher, the dark fantasy following Geralt of Rivia, The Legend of Korra, which we just already kind of went through this. They just had blurbs, so I'm just going to skip it. Launch dates will be announced later, but again, second half of 2025. Youngso Kim, CSO and head of global Webtoon, noted, "We're thrilled to work with Dark Horse to bring this new slate of world-class titles to Webtoon.
Mm.
Whether it's helping new creators grow or bringing beloved franchises to digital comics, we're committed to great storytelling." Tim Weish, VP of Business Development at Dark Horse, added, "Webtoon has been an incredible partner for our Avatar comics, and we're confident these new stories are in good hands." Dark Horse Comics shut down its Dark Horse Digital service in February. In addition, support for the Dark Horse Comics and Plants vs. Zombie Comics apps for iOS devices end March 31st.
Wait a minute.
Webtoon is also we'll get to it. Webtoon has also recently partnered with IDW Publishing to bring several of the publisher's popular titles to its English language platform. In addition, Webtoon recently added Hiromu Arakawa's Full Metal Alchemist manga on May 7th.
That's
Now, you were about to interrupt there. Please, by all means, I do want to hear your thoughts of what
I
what were you going to say?
I mean, there was a lot as I was going. I wanted to say a bunch. First off, very bold of Mr. Yongsoo Kim saying that they're committed to or bringing new slate of world-class titles like Critical Role, The Mighty Nine Ventures, and Plants vs Zombies. But I'm not gonna
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not gonna ruin anyone's parade, but it's fine. I was
there's an audience out there for everyone.
yeah. Well, the everyone would be in the audience. There's a thing for every audience, and the everyone's in the out there is there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I was thrown off when you read that. In addition, with the shutdown of Dark Horse Digital back in February, that the support for Dark Horse Comics and Plants vs Zombies comics apps for iOS are gonna have ended March 31st, which would have been about 3 months from now, or 3 months ago, I should say. I I didn't realize Plants vs Zombies, the game, had a comic portion or an entirely separate app for the comic.
yeah, no, I didn't know either.
All right.
Um, but what I find kind of interesting is like I'm trying to think to myself like this is probably very early on. Like I know that webtoons like they do a lot, but when you think Dark Horse and you're thinking, okay, what can they bring to Webtoon to make Webtoon a better service in the sense of like we can enrich it with IPs that are wanted. They are, and by wanted I mean that are very popular.
Mhm.
While these things separately are popular, I don't know how popular they are in the manga sphere. To my knowledge, I didn't know that a majority of these had a manga. Like, I
Yeah.
knew that Cyberpunk 2077, I mean, it got the anime adaptation. I'd heard that it was getting a manga adaptation, but I heard nothing after it. The Witcher, I had no clue about. The Legend of Korra, I just assumed was like a comic book. And then the Critical Role in Plants vs. Zombies, I had zero clue. But it's like when I think Dark Horse, I think like Akira, I think fucking God dang it,
Any
I
of the
have it.
perfect editions.
Yeah, any of the perfect editions, like fuck, dude, Trigun, which just came out again with the perfect editions.
Yep,
Like I was blanking on if Berserk was actually Dark Horse or not. It is.
it is.
Like, Berserk would have been a huge get, but we're left with these kind of awkward Western titles that I'm just kinda confused why why?
Yeah, I'm so that was gonna be my main point for this conversation, especially with the fact that, the ending of the article points out that they recently added Full Metal Alchemist, back on May 7th, which I'm like, "That's odd tying this into a number of westernized series," I would say. It seems like they are trying to get into the digital space, but they're doing so through their, like, Western comics, but marketing it as like a, "Hey, just be ready, like, we could get more of our manga series that we license onto the app, but we're gonna start with our kind of cookie cutter Western series like Legend of Korra, Avatar, Plants vs. Zombies." Like, it's a weird pivot, and I don't know how it's gonna fit with the Webtoon community. Like, I read a couple of series on Webtoon because they're all digital comics, and these don't fit in that realm at all. Like, they're
No.
they're so far removed, right? Like, doing a bad job of explaining, or at least like highlighting what I find to be a big problem. But like, the best analogy I can give, or relation I can give, was I went to Barnes and Noble recently, and I was looking through all of the manga that they had in one of the newer stores near me, and like in the same case as the manga, they had the Invincible series, like the really
Mhm.
big, massive physical volumes of Invincible, and I'm like, I get it. Yes, 100% agree that, there could be a overlap between fans of manga series and fans of Invincible. I sure as hell am one of them, but completely different. Like,
Yeah,
totally far apart in the space of, comics, we'll say, right?
sure.
So like
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
in the Webtoon library, you look at a lot of series, like, I'm trying to think of like popular ones would be like Boyfriends, right? That's a
Yes.
really big popular digital comic, that has physical releases. There's a couple of ones that we've reviewed on our channel that, were digital comic based, Webtoon based, eventually got physical prints, right? Those are more closely related to like manga series or manhwas than they are to Western comics. So it's just weird now that you're getting like this influx of these outsider type series onto the Webtoon platform. It's almost like you have to create a separate space for them. Like, this is our dark horse library for if you
Yeah.
like, more of your traditional Western comics versus our standard Webtoon library for a lot of your, we'll say, typical Webtoon series. I'm trying to see the bigger picture, and I don't right now with this direction from Dark Horse.
I don't either, especially for the fact of the second article that we have, which came out yesterday by Anime News Network again. New Neon Ichiban comic book service to host digital works from Kodansha, Dark Horse, and more. And this one reads basically, or this one just reads, U.S. publisher DSTLRY, DSTLRY, all caps, announced its new digital comic book service, Neon Ichiban, on Thursday. The service has launched a website where it is accepting registrations for its waitlist. The official service is coming this summer. The service will offer digital comic books, graphic novels, and manga titles from Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Distillery, Kodansha, Oni Press, and Vault Comics. The website is intended to be both a simulpub platform as well as a marketplace for comics, graphic novels, and manga that are available in standard editions as well as limited edition variants, sketch covers, and other collector's editions. The platform claims the feature digital comics will be with verified signatures and custom sketches from creators.
Mm,
It also claims features where users can resell digital comics and collectibles, with the
mm,
resales helping to support creators and publishers. The
mm.
service will also enable users to read their comics online as well as download offline copies.
That
Former co-found
that whole
what
paragraph was just like
is word
something
salad?
shitty, something good, something shitty, something good, just back and
Yeah.
forth.
Former
Ugh.
co founder of Comixology David Steinberg and former Comixology content acquisition and marketing leader Chip Mosher founded Distillery. Steinberg stated to industry news outlets ICV2 that Neon Ichiban is devoted to bringing reading and collectability to a united global audience for comics and manga. Mosher stated that the platform seeks to combine cutting edge technology with a deep respect for comics, manga, and their creators.
God,
Now,
I hate
this
that last sentence.
yeah, no, this screams like a bunch of just like, what the fuck is going on here? Because there's a lot.
No,
There's a
I
lot.
I know what's going on. I know exactly what's going on. It's they're turning it into what effectively is just a digital marketplace similar to I mean, I don't want to boil it down to something this simplistic, but at the end of the day it basically is. It's like the new Pokemon card game where you can collect all the cards digitally, right? Or it's like Magic the Gathering online, or any of the card games where, or better yet, even more applicable to kind of like the current landscape of collectible stuff, digital sports cards. You don't have a physical version of it, you own a digital copy of it, right? Hence
Sure.
NFTs, where you don't actually own it, but
Yeah.
you own the numbers that are tied to its respective code. Okay, that's what this is
And
becoming.
that's
Like that makes no sense to me.
when I initially read this, I was like, oh, this is just gonna be another book walker, but maybe you get your money back rather than having like digital currency to buy more stuff.
Nope.
And then it just leads me to believe that no, this is just kind of weird. And then the biggest question that I have most of all, you're able to buy collector's editions which have like sketch covers in different variants, like normal comic books. Whenever you have like, think of like an Iron Man number 1. I remember when they rebooted the series, oh god, back when I moved back home from college, so 2015, I think, is when they rebooted a series again. They had like 7 different comic book variants for each series that came out. So it's like, okay, cool. They may have all these variants, but are they going to be limited edition to where it's like the first 2,500 people that buy it
Like
get it, and
have
then
it.
they can resell it for a higher price? Is it a set price, like,
Yeah.
or is it just going to be like, hey, yeah, no, we have as many tokens as you want? Like, I don't
It
know
just
how
costs
that's
a
going.
certain amount.
Yeah, so I just wonder, like,
S-
there's just a lot of detailed questions that I have that will just have to wait to be answered. But also
Yeah.
looking like, to tie this back to the last article of Dark Horse and Webtoon, like this Neon Ichiban, they have Marvel, DC. Like when you first start there, that's where I think, okay, this is where you're focused. You're focused on Western titles, and then you throw in Dark Horse. You're like, okay, well, with the news of the last thing, you got
Makes sense.
Avatar again
Yeah.
and Critical Role and all that. But then you go on, you see Distillery, which I don't know what they provide, but then Kodansha and Oni Press.
I should
That's where I get thrown through a loop
I should note
because
too, I went to their website. They do list Viz Media on their website as well. Like when you go through the whole like sign up, join the waitlist thing, I did
yeah,
it just for funsies. I was like, you know what? this we do this for content creation. I might as well get in on whatever the new thing is just to keep up to tabs with it. And they list like, hey, what are you interested in? Viz Media is one of them. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's like a long
I'm on the
shot.
website. I'm on the website right now, and yeah, that's really interesting.
I don't know if it's a long shot, like they're still working out the kinks, but I don't know. So the I made the comment when you finished reading through the article that the last sentence of the article pains me the most because they said that the platform seeks to combine cutting edge technology with a deep respect for comics, manga, and their creators, end quote. And that's from Chip Mosher, who helped found Distillery. The reason why I hate that comment from Chip is because you don't need cutting edge technology for what should just be a very simple marketplace. When you think of a digital marketplace, a digital landscape for buying and selling like comics and manga, you're just like, okay, it's like any other online platform where you just can, you purchase the digital version, and if you want to sell it, I guess, to someone at a discounted rate or sell it back to the company for a percentage off, then you can just do that, right? It should be super simplistic.
Yeah,
Where the cutting edge
and
technology piece comes in, and where I despise it the most, is with what I assume to be connected to this whole uh, feature of verified signatures, custom sketches, and the highlighted piece of the collectability portion. I'm going to make a very bold claim, and I'm just theorizing from what I'm reading. I think this is going to be some weird pack opening blind bag type shit where you spend $50 and you're like, you have a 1 in 100 chance to get an alternate variant copy of Berserk Volume 1 Perfect Edition with a shiny
what
foil
you're saying is
cover.
this just CS:GO skins.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Legit. Like, because again, why would you need
That's
cutting
been
edge?
used. It's been used, so it's like
Oh yeah,
slight like
it's not
ding in the
factory
corner of
new.
it.
You're
Just
like, damn it, it's not factory new. It's not wrapped still.
yeah.
Shit. No, I mean, like, again, like, why would you need cutting edge technology for a marketplace unless you're trying to develop like a whole ecosystem where like you have all of these unique variants of manga, graphic novels, books, comics, whatever. But again, as a customer, you only own it digitally. Like
Yeah.
you can't go. Oh,
Can I print it out? Probably not.
no, no. There. So I'm gonna go off tangent for a hot second. I'll loop it back in. There's a site. What became really popular was all of these sites where you would do like blind boxes for trading cards, right? And the big key piece is that you do it on your computer, but once you open up a card, you actually own it. So you can be like, I want that card, and like send it to me, or you could sell it back to the company that runs the website. They'll give you more credits or whatever, and then you can keep opening up these blind boxes, right? But the whole sticking point was it's not just a digital version, right? You can request it anytime you open up one of the cards, like for Magic, right? If you ended up spending $1 bajillion on a blind box and you open up a Black Lotus, you get that card. That's yours. You own it. You can click the button, say send it to me right now, and they'll send you that card, and you have it, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's Pokemon sites that do that. There's other trading card sites. I know like there's sports card sites now that do it where it's not just like I have a digital copy. Like you actually, if you open it up in one of these blind bag mystery packs, whatever, you actually can own it and then they'll ship it to you. Everything here reads digital only. So what's the point of like you're gonna be like, oh man, look at this. I've got a signed copy from Tite Kubo on my Bleach Volume 1, and someone's like, cool, awesome. Can I have my coffee, please? And they're like, I don't get the appeal of it. It doesn't make sense.
So I did sign up, and it does tell you if you do sign up, it will give you a spot in line, and it tells you what spot in line you are. So right now, I am in spot number 3,555.
Ha, loser. I'm 3,363.
However,
Uh-oh. Oh,
you
yeah.
can copy a referral link, and for people who sign up to wait in line, you can jump ahead in line.
Yep.
As to how many spots in line that counts for, I have no clue, but that is a thing that can happen. Um, all of this to say is that it's weird that Dark Horse decided to give a lot of Western properties to Webtoon and then immediately sign up for this Neon Ichiban, which you would think is also Western properties just from the fact that they pushed Marvel and DC first in the article, which it may have just been, the author's choice to do that. But also when you signed up for the spot in line, DC and Marvel were the first choices for things that you are interested in.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, is it gonna be just the Western stuff again? But then you see Kodansha and Oni Press, which you're just like, okay, wait a second. Is it going to be more of like I have Berserk, Blade of the Immortal, Trigun, all these different things?
I'm my conspiracy theory
So
hat is getting crazier and crazier as this conversation goes on because I think the reason why Marvel and DC are highlighted first is because it's likely a lot easier to get artist sketch proofs, artist signatures, creator signatures for series based, like Western series. Probably a lot easier to come by than, finding down, like hunting down the mangakas for different series, right? That's my only theory. Again, like if they were to come out and say it's a marketplace where you have it's like an eBay, right? It's like a digital marketplace where you can build out a library of your own series, but it's eBay in the sense of like if someone buys, let's say they ended up doing like graded comics, right? Someone buys a graded comic and you're like, "Shit, I really want that." You can just buy it from them, and better yet, you can then get it physically, right? Then I'd be like, "Okay, less egregious knowing that it's not it's not limited to just the digital space. Like you can own the physical copies of whatever you quote unquote own on Neon Ichiban. It just nothing in here alludes to that fact that like, oh, this is eventually going to turn into a you know physical brick and mortar, whatever you want to call it, like where
yeah.
you can actually hold and own outright the copy that you quote unquote own on our site. It just nothing says that. Everything seems to be kind of retained to only a digital version of it. So I still don't understand the appeal.
Yeah, and to throw kind of, more fuel onto the fire as to like what the hell is going on, and I need to find it real quick. Um, and kind of bringing it to the original topic we had initially thought we were going to do, Anime Expo. We were going to
Oh
discuss
yes.
like what we wanted to do for Anime Expo, but then all this just kind of came out. And we're like, let's pivot, and we could just tie in Anime Expo
Yeah.
on Saturday, July 5th at 4:15 p.m. Uh, Dark Horse Manga is gonna have a panel at Anime Expo, and pardon me for reading this out, I had it initially on my phone down here, and I was like, "I can just bring up the website, it's fine." But the panel description is Dark Horse is the second oldest publishing of manga in English in parentheses since 1988, which is interesting. Didn't know that. Now I know.
Hmm.
Our titles include Berserk, Gunsmith Cats, Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, Planets, Innocent Rogue, Trigon Maximum, Keep Your Hands Off Isakin, and Cat Plus Gamer. Please come by our panel to hear about our current and upcoming releases, ask questions, and free prizes. So for me, this makes me wonder, are we going to is it purely going to be upcoming releases like, hey, this is what's going to be released next year? Like, are we going to get like a corpse delivery service volume 6 re-announcement? Are we gonna get more announcements of like, hey, these things are gonna be coming to these digital apps as well? So like it kind of puts a little bit more intrigue for the dark horse space of just like what's gonna happen here. Because we are seeing there is another panel at this convention for Kodansha where it's the future of Kodansha digital. And you're like, okay, what does that entail?
Yeah.
And I forget which, day that's on. I think that's on
Well, Kodansha needs an overhaul. Their app is probably the worst. next to Comic View.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So I just
Um,
my whole thing
yeah,
with
I
Dark
can't.
Horse, because I mean, it sounds like it's a Q&A. It's like a here's the history of Dark Horse, and maybe here's a what's upcoming slate of perfect editions. We already have planets, like we have like
They are
what it looks like. So
Yeah, and they are teasing a new one as of today too, because they had, like, an
I
empty space next to the planets one.
I
So
hope
it's just
it's
one of those things of,
I hope it's Gunsmith Cats because I wanted to get the omnibuses, but
I I doubt it because they are releasing the
I
omnibuses.
know, but the series
A
isn't
lot
that
of
long. I think
a lot of speculation is that it's gonna be Gantz.
Gantz would be sick. I don't mind
And
that.
and I d like, that one makes sense, but, I mean, they also have Blade of the Immortals, which are
Yep.
coming out still, I believe.
Is that
Um,
is Dark Horse doing Vagabond? No.
no, I have no, that's Viz.
That is Viz. That's right. They're doing a pretty good job with that one. Um,
There's a few other series. I was literally on Dark Horse's website, like, the entire time just browsing pages of what do they have because
no,
I was
they have a
so
lot.
just like
They have a
yeah,
lot.
they do. They have a
People
lot
only
more than I had anticipated.
people only really think about them when it comes to the perfect editions. I mean, like they think of Dark Horse, they think of Berserk and the perfect volumes, right? Because Berserk was kind of the
Yeah.
standout for a long time of these perfect editions, and then you had Blade of the Immortal that slowly started to come out, and then it's just ramped up from there. You have the Trigun series, Vinland Saga. I know it's not this isn't Dark Horse, but like Vinland Saga has theirs, Vagabond we just said has theirs. So it was like I feel like Dark Horse was the pioneer, so to speak, of like creating these big, beautiful leather bound volumes. But
Yeah, it would actually be pretty cool if they did give us, the deluxe editions of Lone Wolf and Cub. That would be a cool
it
one
won't be bad.
as well.
But that's all to say, as we're boasting about how wonderful Dark Horse's perfects are, it'd be a travesty if it's like, oh, we're investing more into our digital space and our partnership with a new site called Neon Ichiban from the creators of or the publisher DSTLRY, and we're gonna start making all of these exclusive versions for digital only. And it's just like who is the marketplace? Who are you sourcing in your selection groups to like crowd test this and be like, hey, all right, picture this. You're reading your beautiful volume of Berserk Volume 1, but your little baby hands can't hold it that well. Well, what if you could capture the beauty and essence of that same volume in digital form? That's right. Get rid of that giant book that's absolutely gorgeous on your bookshelf and shove it onto your tiny little pocket computer. That'll have the same feel, won't it, folks? No, don't do that, please.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting, and I know we kinda, like I feel like I should have introed this episode into the beginning of just being like, "Hey, this is all about Dark Horse Comics and what the fuck they're
Well,
doing with their future." But it is kind of a little bit more of like this is a general what's going on in the digital sphere because we are seeing a lot of different changes in digital comics and whatnot, and
yeah.
it's gonna be interesting because still right now, in my opinion, Viz slash Shonen Jump do it the best. They have a
Uh,
subscription fee. You can read 100 chapters a day.
yeah.
Bueno,
Shueisha,
great,
I mean,
have
Shueisha
fun.
with Jump Plus or on Manga Plus is also good too.
That's still technically Shonen Jump slash Viz. Like it's
Oh yeah,
all the
yeah,
same umbrella.
yeah.
So
But like,
again,
th-
they're still the same genuine or just like
yeah,
I don't know.
it's I I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. I'm trying to decipher through all of this and just theorize, hypothesize, whatever you wanted to describe it, exactly what the vision is for Neon Ichiban. And the only conclusion I can come to is that being if you're like a digital reader only, right? Like let's say buying physical volumes, it's too much money, not enough space, whatever the case is, right? And you're limited to just digital. I imagine their mentality is we want to give ownership to people who might only be able to read manga digitally. They might not have access to the physical volumes, or again, like financially, it's just not it's not worth it. Spatially, you just don't have the room size to house volumes of manga. So let's give digital fans the ability to feel like they own a copy and they don't just have like a license to read it that can expire at any moment, right?
Yeah.
Because very similar, I don't want to freak people out, very similar to when iTunes was a thing and you were to buy an album on iTunes, you didn't
God.
actually own an album. You just had a license to the album, and at any point Apple can remove it. It's the same with a lot of digital platforms. I don't want to scare people, but like at any point, if you don't like, Steam is different. Steam, you're like, no, you outright own it. But like there's a lot of
Yeah.
places where you just kind of own a license to it, and if they pull it, they pull it. Sorry. I have a feeling that this Neon Ichiban is trying to approach it from the standpoint of like, no, we want digital readers to feel like they can stake a claim to a copy, and we'll give them an added bonus by having all of these different variants of series, whether it's different cover art, sketch art, author signatures, whatever, right? Which is
Yeah.
fine. Like that's, if you approach it from that standpoint and that perspective, it's fine. I can see it. I just have a very, very sneaking suspicion deep down inside me, knowing and understanding how the landscape of this online collectible market is heading, that they're going to approach it of like a, I don't want to keep bringing this up, but like an NFT style where it's like you get, this is your version. You get a unique one of a kind variant, right? You will never, ever, ever, ever own it physically because it doesn't exist physically. It is only a digital version. And you might be like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane. I could sell this for, I don't know, $300, we'll say, right?" And the
Right.
marketplace, you could get invested in it. You could spend time like reselling and buying and opening up new things and building up this huge library, and then it could all disappear in a matter of seconds. They could just be like, "Oh, we're defunct," or "Oh, we're out," or "Oh, you don't have these licenses anymore," or "Oh, we're banning your account." Whatever they say, and then you're just poof, it's gone. Like, what do?
Yeah.
You can't do anything.
I will say the amount of fucking you brought it up and I'm just like, God damn it, he's so right. The amount of fucking albums I bought off of iTunes
Oh
as a
no, did
kid.
you look? Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
I
did.
haven't owned an Apple product in like a decade, so
But
it's
every
just like I have no idea. But yeah, no, like I probably don't have
Oh
anything
yeah.
anymore.
No, I don't think anyone does, but it's just, that's the scariest part about this. Like again, I understand, I can see the vision. I can, I understand the appeal as well. It's just, for me, it seems very, I'm very skeptical of it, and it seems like they're trying to profit off of or jump on the big old bandwagon of all these other sites that are doing like these digital marketplaces, NFT style. Like you don't own it, you have it, it's in your library, right? Or it's in your portfolio, whatever you want to call it, but you don't, like, you don't really own anything. You just own a code for it.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's if they were to just stick to being a digital marketplace for buying digital volumes, and maybe there's, they're discounted by like a couple bucks here and there, it'd be kind of attractive. That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
But once you get into the, we have limited editions, we have one of a
Ooh.
kinds, we have to use cutting edge
Ooh.
technology to develop this
Oh.
platform. I'm like, no, I see where this is heading. I've seen people go through this trend and how many millions and millions of dollars were lost. So I don't know. I'll be, again, I'm in the wait list. I'm gonna stick around and find out, but I'm not holding my breath that this is going to be anything beyond what we've already kind of theorized it's going to be.
Yeah. But thank you all for joining us this week. We greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode in which we are going to be doing a spring 2025 anime review. So,
Yay!
you want to know what we think about last season's shows, if they were good or duds, tune in next week. But if you want daily content, we are posting on our social medias at Baka&Co Podcast, wherever you get your social medias. Have fun there. But until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.